But I did want to get into the adjuvants and some of the other products that we do carry. I know we already had a call on the adjuvants. We already had a call on the biologicals, and I really want to push you all to those calls if you want to learn more about those products. But with regards to foliar feeding, there are some combinations that we have with our products that aren't necessarily fertility-based, but can increase the effectiveness of that foliar feed. So the first one I want to touch on is rain fast. So we talked about how that really helps to increase penetration on our adjuvants call of chemicals into the leaves. The way that works is essentially it's going to move in those nutrients in a foliar feed through that waxy layer, that waxy cuticle layer on top of the leaf. So it's going to move in those nutrients a lot quicker. It's going to basically make it so those nutrients are spreading out evenly, have a greater surface area to be absorbed by the leaf, and even have that stomatal flooding, or so we call it. When you have that spray that covers the leaf so well that the stomatas are being covered by that spray, and that's really where we get the best uptake from these fertilizers, or through those pores in the leaves. Another one that we like to see combined, no pun intended there, with our foliar feed applications would be Combined. So Combined is a product that's going to help us kind of ensure that pH is at the ideal level. With foliar feeding, that's anywhere from about 6.2 to 7. So maybe take a pH reading of your water, or even better, do a water test to get that pH from Midwest Labs, and use Combined to adjust that pH down to those ideal levels. You want just a fairly acidic, but not to the point to where it's going to impact the uptake of these fertilizers. Another one that we see really not very common with foliar feeding, just because when we're foliar feeding, we really want basically two things with our spray. We want a low volume and a high pressure. What that's going to do is create a very fine mist to create the best possible coverage, the best possible spray infiltration into our canopy. And that's what's going to increase the effectiveness of these foliar feeds. Now, typically if you're going out and it's really windy, the weather conditions aren't perfect, our normal advice would be probably just to wait for better weather. That's not always the case, though. Better weather isn't necessarily just around the corner. And in that case, some guys do like to put in a little bit of bullseye with a foliar feed. We really recommend just waiting for the right weather, though. But then PGRs, such as our intensifier, Excito, those can be combined with the foliar feed very effectively. So in the same way that a foliar feed is going to encourage the plant to pull nutrients from the soil and hype up the uptake of those nutrients, a PGR is going to basically help to hype up the cell division, hype up the growth to better utilize those nutrients that the plant is taking up in higher quantities. So those PGRs like Intensify, Excito are great when they're partnered with a foliar feed. We've seen really good results there. Another product is Syntos. Specifically with the foliar feed, we've had a little bit of anecdotal reports of sugars acting as almost like a sticker. When you put a little bit of sugar in that spray, it's going to create that sticky solution almost, causing those droplets to stay on the leaves a little bit better than they might so without something like Syntos FA. So that's just kind of something that we've had testimonial evidence from. Guys have had pretty good results when they're doing foliar feeding with Syntos. Not only because of the benefits that we covered in that biologicals call 2 weeks ago, but also just because it will help to impact that foliar feed. It's going to help stick those droplets onto the leaves. Another benefit with Syntos FA is that fulvic acid in there. Fulvic acid is a chelating agent. So when you apply it with those fertilizers, it's going to help move those in, similar to how Rain Fast does.